Okay, hello, everybody. It's 6 o'clock, so we want to respect everybody's time and start on time. My name is Dave Coward. I'm the president of GCCI. Jerry Stevenson is online. He's in the cooler parts of the country up in Washington State at this time. Let's see, we have Dale McKinney. We have Isabel Peterson, we have Dick Richards and June Russo. I think that's everybody, right? Yep. Okay, all right. So we've got some new folks here. So before we get started, why don't we introduce ourselves? So Dave, you want to start?
Sure. My name is Dave Matei. I live in Trotter Del Oro, and I'm interested in finding what's going on in the community.
Great, thank you.
I'm Laura Samuelson, obviously hungry. I've been coming since last fall, and I'd like to pick up new information every time I come.
And you live where?
I live in Mountain Brook at
Mountain Brook.
the moment, but soon.
Oh, okay, great.
Mark DeGirolamo, I think my fourth meeting, like that. I keep missing them out of town usually, but I live up in Superstition Hills, and I like know that I'm nosy. I like eventually I'd like to get involved with stuff, but I want to put my foot in, because as soon as I do,
Okay,
something will come up at work or going back east.
right. Well,
Shoot me in the foot. I know.
we're all busy, so we understand that. But and thank you for bringing the snacks tonight.
Well,
We appreciate
Thank
that.
you for getting me involved.
Okay, all
I
right.
thought I'd change up, no coffee. I got soda, ginger ale, water, and Pepsi, and other snacks instead of coffee.
Okay, and Todd?
Todd House, I used to be the county supervisor for the area, and just want to get back into the groove of things and make sure to know what's going on in Bow Canyon and be aware of the issues that are in Bow Canyon.
Yeah.
I'm a recovering politician.
We forgive you.
Yeah.
Good to have you with us.
And when we started, Todd was our supervisor and was very helpful in getting us started. So thanks, Todd. Sir.
Mike Wakito, I'm a resident here for the past quarter-plus century, and just like to try to slow things down again.
And where do you live here?
Falling Star, up next to the Forest Service.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Dirt road. There's still a few around.
Okay.
I live on one too.
Dale?
Dale McKinney, Parks and Rec Director for Located Community Incorporated.
Okay. Isabel?
Isabel Peterson, Conservation with GCCI.
And
Richard, water resources, looking for people that are interested in water resources.
Good evening, June Russo, Bow Canyon Strong, Community Relations for Bow Canyon Community Inc.
okay. Well, today's program, it started I don't know, about 6-8 months ago when some of our board members had to resign due to issues with spouses needing more care at home. And they let us know that, gee, it's really difficult to try to find resources out there for seniors. And our demographics is, we got a lot of seniors here. So we thought this would be an interesting topic. So we have Joan Marlow, who's going to be talking to us about her efforts in assisting seniors finding help and resources for what they need. And then following up, that will be Kathlyn Wilhelm. She's with Minty Cares.
Minty Coast Senior Solutions.
Okay, that was a whole title. And she assists people in finding assisted living, correct?
Yes.
So without further ado, let me bring up your. Yeah.
Hey, Dave, maybe we could introduce the people on Zoom too.
I'm sorry, people on Zoom. Jerry, please introduce yourself.
Sure, I'm Jerry Stevenson. I'm in Burlington, Washington right now, just came up, and I'm chair of the Transportation and Safety Committee.
Okay, Roberto, you're muted.
Roberto Ravelis, founding president of GCCI, retired to give young upstarts like Dave Coward and Jerry Stevenson an opportunity to take on the load. But also I expressed to Dave my interest, my personal interest in the speakers, because at age 90 plus, I live alone. And I am anticipating that I will need to look for services such as the opportunities that the speakers might present today.
Okay, thank you, Roberto. Joan, would you like to introduce yourself?
That's me, right? No.
Oh, did you,
Wait, it isn't.
did you log in?
No. Mr. Joan.
Joan? How about Joy Bliss?
She's muted.
You're muted. Joan and Joy, you're both muted. Okay, well, Mary Hammer, she's also online.
Hi, I'm Mary Hammer. I live in Entrada del Oro. I've been here a year, love it. And I want to start attending the meeting so I can see what's going on and get some more information.
Great, thank you, Mary. Okay. All right, so let me get up the where is
Joan and Kathlyn, are you guys local, East Valley, where
I
exactly?
live on Sierra Vista.
Okay.
I'm off of the Sleepy Hollow.
Okay.
I'm over in Prison Creek near Prison and Baseline.
Okay.
let me see, how do we get oh,
Put it on the
slideshow.
And then you do share.
We're already sharing. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Let's
So I'm gonna
see.
slide in your seat. I'm gonna sit.
Okay, let me oh, okay, just checking the chat there. Okay, I will work the
Thank you.
camera. You bet.
Thank you. I'm gonna get comfy cozy. So I'm Joan Marlow. The name of my business is called Peaceful Easy Healing. And I've had my business for about 13 years, and I've been here in Gold Canyon for 18 years. Hard to believe. The longest place I've lived anywhere. And I love Gold Canyon, and I'm just so impressed with GCCI. I met with Dave the other day, and I met up with Dave at our new networking group that we have on Wednesday mornings in this room. And I feel so good getting reconnected to small businesses that are here in town, and that's what we're all about. And Dave immediately shared with me that this month was going to be the topic dealing with seniors. And I lovingly call this the land of the old. And we all need some help along the way. So my business, my phrasing has been enhancing your health and well-being from awareness to action through advocacy. Like I said, I've been in business for about 13 years. I'm a life and wellness coach. I am also a teacher. I teach meditation. I teach Tai Chi Easy. I believe in the power of movement to keep you healthy. My desire is for people to live their best life, no matter where they are in their life. I believe in the power of movement. And most recently, I got hooked on this patient advocacy piece. I've been an advocate forever, but now this patient, which is a new profession that's what I'm going to be talking about today. And I'm really proud to say that 3 weeks ago, I learned that I passed my certification exam. So now I can really say that I'm a patient advocate. So I got the whole deal, whole enchilada. So now you can really talk to me. So, whoops, am I in your way now?
No. Nobody can see you,
Oh,
so I can fix that.
okay. Maybe.
Yeah, Dave, we could see the speaker, we just couldn't see the presentation.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you can't see the presentation?
so we're sharing though.
You know, I see your USB-D drive inventory. I don't, or somebody's D drive.
Well, that's mine.
Okay, so I think you need to
There
click
we
on
go. Here we go.
that and go to,
There we go.
Now see it?
excellent, okay.
All right,
Okay, all
now,
right.
away we go.
You've got a new certificate.
Yay! Give me that clicker. No. I'm from New Jersey, so look out. Yeah. You can take the girl out of Jersey, you can take Jersey out of the girl. So yes, I will advocate for you. It's not liking it. It's got to come from that.
Where's the cursor?
Right here.
There it is.
Let's see. How come it's not liking that? There's the cursor. Goes to animation. There we go. There we go. Let's move this a minute. From beginning. I just can't get to it.
I think you just click enter, yeah.
Well, no, because I have to do from the beginning.
Yeah, well, looks like it's clicked up here. The first page is showing on our screen.
Is it? Okay, so when we move through, what happens?
You should just push enter and
Nope, it's
see
not.
page 2.
Nope. Nope, it's not work. We need to go to from beginning. Here we're moving. Here we go. Here we go, maybe. We love technology.
Let's try it. Sharing again. Let's stop. Just start from the beginning.
It's those New Yorkers messing with the New Jersey people.
That's it. There we go. Yay.
But it's not.
Well, now I'm a Joycey girl.
Awesome.
We don't know why this is working, but maybe we can't do that today, and that's okay. I can do it.
Yep,
Okay.
you're on. You've changed that whatever you did went to.
Okay.
second. Yeah,
This is probably the best we can
Dang,
get.
so my good timing isn't going to play. Like I said, I've been a forever teacher. I'm a lifelong learner and forever teacher. I taught high school, I taught post-secondary, I was corporate trainer. So this is my world. Give me PowerPoint. Yay. But I use PowerPoint because I also have the gift of gab. So this has to keep me on track. So the power of advocacy. And as I said, I decided to become a patient advocate. And 2 reasons why or what happened. The first thing I had to read was this book, the Healthcare Handbook, which scared the crap out of me. And because there are terrifying things going out there in the healthcare system. And then at the same time I was reading, You Bet Your Life, the 10 reasons you need a professional patient advocate by your side. And this is also terrifying as well. I too had one of these a year ago, February, I ended up in the hospital and the care I got was just horrendous. And all I did was said thank you all the time to the fact that my brain does work and I am feisty and I know what is right and what isn't right in a medical environment. And I had to fight for every single thing that happened. And all I did was cry as I thought about all the seniors in my world that think that if the guy wears a white coat, they know everything. And they just trust them, they won't ask questions and so on and so forth. And that really made me really, really wild. And that's when I immediately signed up for the certification test and did all the studying and whatever else. So a lot of this is my story as well. So the power of advocacy, YDK, WYDK, you don't know what you don't know. And that is oh so true. But then the question becomes, but what if you don't know the questions to ask to get to what you need to know? Because that's just it. Because so many people have never thought about asking a medical question. They assume they know, or they followed, Dr. Google, and Dr. Google said to do X, Y, and Z, and they did it. Or they go to their closest friend and their closest friend gives them the advice. Or they go to some doctor and they just follow the doctor blindly to do whatever. And they find out they aren't getting any better, but they still are then embarrassed to say about the fact that they aren't getting any better. And what are they going to do about that as well? So, whoops. So we move to, well, underneath this little thing. So I have two words in there, advocacy and advocate. Advocacy is the action of standing up for someone's rights and helping someone get through something. I call myself sometimes an Erin Brockovich. And then the advocate is my Erin Brockovich hat. And again, that's the person that's going to be standing up for you to advocate for you because you have rights. And bottom line in this role as either, and this is a brand new profession, this whole patient advocacy thing. People might have been using that phraseology, but now it's become a profession, becoming a profession. It could go by the name of healthcare advocate, patient advocate, healthcare navigator. So you could be hearing all those phrases. And there are a variety of us from many, many fields. There are many people in this field who are nurses or doctors who have gotten fed up with the medical system, the healthcare system. They decide that they can help people more on their own this way than they can working in the big system. That's one of the groups. So you've got the clinical people, even though a healthcare advocate under the ethics of our program, we cannot, well, I certainly can't because I don't even play a nurse on TV, so that won't work. But you can't even give the advice about a recommendation about taking something. We can give you the education. We're helping you make the best informed decision you possibly can make. That's our deal. There are other people that are now healthcare advocates and patient advocates who are in the medical billing area. Again, that's another whole crazy nightmare. When you have problems with your healthcare billing, when you're looking at bankruptcy, as far as they aren't adhering to what you're saying, what you can pay for your doctor's bills and what they're going to be willing to accept. So there's a bunch of people in this world, and we all work together as we find our clients. My arena relates to helping the humans. I'm out there doing the coaching. I'm doing the counseling. I'm there holding hands. I'm out there helping the disgruntled families where they have mom and dad in the middle, and they've got some kids on the East Coast, some kids on the West Coast, some kids up north, some kids up south, down south, and everybody has a different thought about it. And there's all this argument going on and confusion. I'm there to sort of sort out that confusion and help guide them to what's the best way to go. I'm also here. I have a number of clients right here in Gold Canyon that I actually serve as their daughter, in that I go to their doctor's appointments with them. I go, we sit together, I get all the kids on a Zoom call or whatever, and we come up with the questions we need to ask a doctor. I write them all down. I go to the appointment with them. I ask the questions. I write down the notes. I then send a report out to everybody. So we keep mom or dad alive and well. And I also provide peace of mind to the family. That's been huge in this arena. So, and again, it's all about the person having a voice. So what's going on with our healthcare system? Medical errors, third leading cause of death in the US. Medication errors account for 7,000 deaths in the US each year. And they're responsible for 1 out of 20 hospital admissions. One of the things that happened to me in my nightmare situation in the hospital a year ago, they gave me a drug. My first stop when I was driving home from the hospital, I met at Walgreens, my new best friend, the pharmacist at Walgreens. And I said, what is this? Why do you think they gave it to me? And is it going to mix well with other stuff that I'm on? One of the first questions I ask my clients is, give me your list of your drugs. Because what else happens is, especially with seniors, they might be using a mail order system. They might be using Walgreens. They might be using Walmart. They've got all these doctors, and sometimes they've forgotten that a doctor, even though all of your heads are doing this, I'm loving it. They crossed a lane and they were giving a drug that wasn't in their specific lane, but they thought it would help. Because we know how that works. And now they're taking double the dosage of what was required. And then I actually have them bring out their pills. And I say, tell me how you use this pill. And they'll say, oh, I don't know what that pill is. Open up the bottle and they go, haven't seen that one in a while. Then they'll start telling me that they split the pills in half. Then they tell me they take half 1 point. And I'm going, oh, okay. So again, I'm busily writing my notes, but these are the things that are happening. And it's because they're doing the best they can with what they have to work with. So they need some help, but there are major things going on out there that are causing problems. Another reason why the healthcare system is a mess is communication. 50% of patients leave primary care not understanding what the physician told them. Only 9% of the time do patients participate in clinical decisions. They're just told, like the pills that I was given, I said no, and they said yes, and here were the pills. And because I was in the hospital setting. So, and they sort of stand there and they watch you take the pill before that time. And again, this is very important. People also, there's so many medications can have names that are this long, and some of them sound very, very similar. And if a doctor tells you to stop one and keep another one, I know a personal story. It was one of the women that actually I was at a conference with for patient advocacy. Her mother ended up dying from, she misunderstood a doctor. She stopped a pill that she's supposed to take, and she doubled the pill she was really supposed to have stopped. And the woman just wasted away. And by the time the family really saw what was going on and it clicked, the woman was gone. So, I mean, these are real stories. And so the communication is vitally important. And like I said, many seniors are afraid to ask a question. Then you also have the fact that most doctors spend 7 minutes with you. That's their number, that's their amount. I have a girlfriend back in Jersey who was having major back surgery. She was dealing with a surgeon at Columbia University Hospital, and he was allowing her to ask one question each time they talked. One question. So you better make it good. So, but again, this is the stuff that's going on. And I'm sure you guys have all the stories as well, because we're out there. Health literacy, the degree to which individuals have the capacity to obtain, process, and understand basic health information and services needed to make appropriate health decisions. This is huge. There is a plethora of services out there, plethora. And some, again, may sound very, very similar, but not all of them are the same. And again, only 12% of adults have adequate health literacy skills, even to understand how their bodies work, even to understand their body functions, because it was never important. That never rose at the top of the level when they're living a life or whatever. So that is another issue. Okay, after all that, take a breath. And hold it and let it go. This slide shows up in many of my presentations because it's all about breathing. Always go back to your breath. When stress gets in the way, when life gets too big, just breathe. It resets your nervous system. It's a wonderful little vacation for yourself. So what do patients actually value? The relationship with their physician. And again, a 7-minute visit does not make a relationship. Evidence-based medicine, which simply means that there's science behind the meds that you're using. It's not something that they are cross-using for something. Here's one thing that's branded but be used by one thing. Now they're trying it. They've seen applicability in another area. That might not be proven at this point in time. And care coordination. One of the biggest problems that folks are having, the most dangerous time for anybody, is when they're being released from the hospital. That whole discharge process, so many mistakes happen along the line because of what we talked about before, the conversations that are going to be happening, the proper care that's going to be able to be had. And again, families or people that are taking someone home from the hospital say, we got it, we got it, we got it, until they don't. So those are things that are vitally important. So care coordination is vitally, vitally, vitally important. So what do we value? Listening, communication, confidence, of course, our time. Today, I started out at 8:15 this morning down at Barnett Delaney Perkins. My appointment was at 8:15. I got in there at 9:30. And they said, well, it's going to be another hour. And I went, I don't have another hour to give you, etc. So time is, what do you do with that? So saving money, knowing their personal situation, provide personalized solutions. It's all about the person that I'm working with, being innovative with finding solutions, finding out really what matters to people. And again, this magical peace of mind. So my role, and again, I've shared two different pieces of paper. I've got the goldenrod paper and a white paper. On this goldenrod paper is the definition of what an advocate does, what we're trying to do for you. You'll notice that I emphasize in here, it's providing guidance and assistance to their clients in decisions related to their health needs. And again, helping clients make informed choices and access resources. There is an entire senior industry out here in that East Valley, throughout Phoenix, throughout Arizona. But people, if we aren't involved in that, we don't know it's true. There's a network of folks that I have in my world. And again, I've been in the senior world out here for probably 10 years. Primarily now it's turned into the dementia world. I teach at the Memory Cafe. I teach engagement kinds of things. I do lots of different things in that world. And there's a lot of services out there. And again, there's a book out there called Spotlight. This little manual is a good starting place. So I don't know, I might get a whole, this next week I'm going to a meeting, I might bring a whole bunch of these back and we're going to find a place to put these things. Because I'm excited about the fact that Gold Canyon is going to get involved in creating resources for us here. And I'd love to be a part of that team. So how do we do that? Again, getting to know their clients intimately. I spend a lot of time with my clients. We have a cup of coffee. We talk about it. We talk about all different kinds of things that are important to them. What are their wishes? Are those wishes captured somewhere? People tell me more things than they tell their kids. And again, then I share with the kids if I've been given permission. I have all the HIPAA things signed so I can go and find out all the information about what's going on with their medical stuff. And again, advocates should have more information or insight about their clients and the medical providers, and I do, because I spend the quality time with them. And again, that's part of the reason why certified patient advocates are doing such a great job with being involved. How do we do it? We observe. I mean, basically looking at someone and just saying, are they demonstrating health and well-being? Especially now with my taking care of people here that their kids are gone. I call it the eyes on the prize. And I'll do an eyes on the prize report out and I'll say, hey, dad's not looking this good. Dad's got a sty in his eye or whatever else, just to keep the kids in the loop of what's going on. Again, I meet with doctors. And lots of times I end up getting involved with friends because again, the kids aren't here. So the friends of the people that are also the boots on the ground here. I also ask a ton of direct open-ended questions because I've been in coaching for a million years and I listen. Listen, and I'm not afraid to ask a clarifying question. If I don't understand something, tell me again and then I will repeat it. I'll do the parroting routine. This is what I think I heard you say. And again, I read the medical records and the notes. Like I say, I don't pretend to be a medical person on TV or anywhere else. But again, I will ask those dumb questions and I will go to the medical provider to ask for the information. And again, what this says underneath my big heart here is just saying, we help people find their voice. We help people find solutions to their problems and creative solutions to their problems. And again, my new tagline is nobody should have to navigate the healthcare system alone. Nobody out there, because it's dangerous. And again, thank you for this opportunity. Again, I have cards over there. You've got my information here. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I'm just so thrilled to be part of this group now. And I'm going to be getting involved in some way, shape, or form.
Do you have digital photos?
Sure enough.
You can send them to me.
I will. I will. And Dave asked for this. I mean, this is my normal piece that I send out explaining what pay, because now I'm out there. And if any of you have groups that I can go and speak to about what this new profession is, et cetera, because I'm all about awareness. I'm all about education. Education is power, information is power. And again, we want everybody to keep safe and live their best life. Dave asked for this piece, my checklist. This is something that I give new clients. I'm also carving out a niche for myself for women who find themselves in the same place I am, single without any kids. And here we are. Yes, we have great friends, but who's going to take care of us when something happens? So one of the first things I do, especially with those women, is get this checklist out, start gathering your paperwork. There could be some here, some there. I think I did that. I don't remember where it is. Go blow the dust off of it, because this is important. This is important in the God forbid case something happens, we have to have this stuff readily available. And also, some of this stuff needs to be updated like every 3 years. So this, Dave asked for this, so I'm more than happy to share this as well. And more than happy to help you through that process too. Again, thank you for your time. So so when we can't keep you home any longer. Oh,
For initial consultation, I have some clients. Is that free? They just like contact you and find out like your children that are out of.
sure, sure. Like I said, I do a 45-minute consult to get the big picture.
Got it. And is that at a charge or small? Or-
No, not for the first 45 minutes. No, because we have to get to know and for them to fully understand what I can do and then what the capacity is.
And is this profession licensed or is it kind of a recognized?
Well, like I said, I just earned my, you might have missed that, I just earned my certification.
Okay, great.
So we are now, insurance companies don't know what to do with us because we're running such a broad, so our liability insurance is like all over the board.
Sure.
So they're figuring out what to do with us. Because again, we go from the medical billing accounting part area to the clinical, and they can't do real clinical stuff, but they can do it reviews and whatever. And I'm all about the consulting and keeping it normal, keeping it real, but no. So my partner in this whole process, Kathlyn Wilhelm, she's talking about when you can't stay home anymore, what does that mean? And again, that's a scary world out there too, very scary. And when you turn a loved one over to a community or whatever to go and live in. So I was thrilled when Dave found both of us and said, okay, you guys are on for May.
I'm just gonna stand over here. All right.
Sure.
Well, thank you so much, Joan. She had a wonderful PowerPoint presentation. I just brought some notes, so I hope you bear with me. I'm Kathlyn with Mentico Senior Solutions. We're a senior placement company serving the East Valley. I help families to get a fresh start by helping them find the best senior living based on their budget, based on the care needs and the lifestyle of their elderly. So I just want to share some information today about different types of senior living. When do our elderly need more care and what options are out there? So quick rundown. Let's start with this. Senior citizen versus elderly. All of us, me included, that are over the age of 55 are senior citizens. But what is technically considered elderly is folks that are age 80 or over. And sometimes senior citizens have some medical challenges. Maybe they need to use a walker, or they have some other things that they need assistance with that will put them into that elderly category. So let's talk about independent senior living versus a 55 plus active retirement. What would that difference be? Well, a lot of us live in a 55 active retirement. I think we know that one. Often there's a golf course, often there's a community, clubhouse, right, with a gym, and there might be a big HOA that brings in some entertainment and things like that. But that's pretty much it. You might have a beautiful home, or you might have a little park model, but that would be a 55 plus retirement activity. Now, independent senior living, that's the fun senior living. That's the one that people choose to go to. Sometimes a good example might be if a lady in her 70s, maybe her husband passes away and they've been married for 50 plus years, and she's living in a big house by herself, and she has the housekeeper and the landscaper and the pool guy and the handyman, and she feels very overwhelmed with all of this and says, I don't even feel safe in my home anymore. She might really enjoy going to live in independent senior living. Independent senior living are apartment complexes. They can range from a casual, very down-to-earth place to a very elegant place. They have some very fancy ones up in Scottsdale. And everything is all inclusive. So utilities included, housekeeping included, usually at least 2 meals a day are included. And that can range from a cafeteria style to some very fine dining. I've seen some of the communities that serve filet mignon and lobster. And there's a shuttle, so if you want to keep your car, you can, but you don't have to. The shuttle will go to scheduled destinations like Target and the grocery store and the bank, and it also goes to fun outings and some of the casual places. You might be going out to the movies and Mexican food, and some of the really fancy places might be taking trips up to Canada and down to South America, and they might have season tickets to the professional ball games. So it all kind of varies. But there's a lot of camaraderie. A lot of people feel very safe there. No more reason for shopping and cooking and things like that. But let's talk today a little bit more about the senior living for our elderly. So that gets into assisted living, which can be the minimum care or it could be more advanced care. It also gets into memory care, which again can be minimum care or more advanced care. And then we've got adult care homes. Adult care homes would be a residential house like what you or I live in that has been licensed and converted into an assisted living home. Those are usually the most cost effective. So there's some folks that get caught between they're not at the welfare all tax level, but they also really cannot afford assisted living. And often an adult care home is the best place for budget. It's also a great place for folks that are really at end of life, near end of life, who are not able or interested in getting up and running all around, whether it be with their walker or their scooters or whatever, and they need a much smaller space to be cared for in. So that would be an adult care home. Memory care, I'm not going to get into a lot of, it is more complex, but it is really light memory care can just be folks that live in an assisted living community that's licensed for directed care. And maybe they just have a little trouble remembering when to go to lunch. Maybe they get a little confused about where they're at sometimes, but they're still very pleasant and able to pretty much enjoy and have a happy day. And they can stay in that assisted living community. More advanced memory care would be for folks that have serious Alzheimer's and very serious dementia that need to be in a secured, locked community. So they don't wander out into traffic, right? And where they need help 24/7 with pretty much everything that they're doing. That would be advanced memory care. So with assisted living, there might be somebody maybe in their 70s who's in a wheelchair, and really they're just like you and I, but you know, they have a little trouble, they can't really do housekeeping, they need a little help with bathing, but otherwise they are pretty happy in assisted living, and they go down and enjoy talking to folks and having meals with other people. And that would kind of be minimum care. They can pretty much take care of themselves. They just need a little help here and there. More advanced care would be someone who might need help with bathing a couple days a week. They might need help with getting dressed in the morning and the evening. They might even need help with toileting. They might need help getting in and out of bed. That would be a very advanced care. So your charges are going to be based on some of those. So the way that you pay for assisted living is there's always the rent part of it, and that's stable. They'll tell you flat out what that is. Of course, it depends on how nice the community is. It depends on the size of the apartment. It could be a 300 square foot apart studio, or it could be a small 1 bedroom, a large 1 bedroom. I've even seen 2 bedrooms. So that's going to determine the price. Also, if you want to be way in the back and have to walk quite a long ways down that hall to get to the dining, then you might get a little less expensive apartment than if you're up close right near the activities and dining room and things like that. So even though you sign a lease that says your rent price is stable for the year, it's really a month-to-month lease in assisted living. Now, the second element of your cost is the care cost, and that's going to be based entirely on the physician's orders and the nurse's assessment. Okay, so care costs typically start at about $300 a month, just for medication management. And some folks have 10 or 12 different medications and they need assistance keeping that all set up and being taken properly. And then it goes up into some of that advanced care that I just described. So the care costs also kind of range wildly. So I will tell you here in the East Valley right now, if you're looking for a nice, pleasant assisted living place that has very good reviews, you're going to probably pay between $4,000 to $6,000 a month, depending on how much care level you need. And your care level costs may change month to month. I have known people that maybe are in their 70s and fall and have a break something substantial, are in the hospital, they go to skilled nursing, they go to assisted living, they have a very high care level, but they work with occupational therapy and physical therapy, and they really get better and improve. And that care cost goes down and down and down. A couple months ago, I even had a family that went home. They got that much better. That's doesn't always happen, but on occasion. Because sometimes folks go into assisted living and unfortunately they continue to have struggles and that care costs can go up. So hopefully explain some of that. So how do we know when our elderly need more care? Signs and red flags to watch for. I have a paper that I put there, maybe down at the bottom of the pile, but it's a little story. You'll see some green ink on there. It's a little story about an adult daughter who's spending some time with her mother, and about some of the signs that she gets in the red flags that mom might be needing some more care. And all of the bold bullets at the bottom are just reflects to look for. If you see one thing happening, probably not a problem. But if you see 3 or 4, I would be concerned. And remember, the elderly folks in your life, they're not going to tell you that I'm not comfortable showering on my own. I mean, that's very embarrassing. I wouldn't have to tell somebody that. So you're going to have to watch for some of these signs. So if your older brother, you've seen him 2 or 3 days in a row and he's wearing the same shirt, and you ask him, how come you're not on the same shirt? And he says, oh, it's just my favorite one. That would be a sign that maybe he's struggling getting dressed and showering. You need to have some more conversations. So take that seriously. And hopefully if you have an elderly person in your life, you can look over that list and think about it. So what options do we have and what are the pros and cons? Well, number one, they can always move in with us. Or preferably a sibling, right? That's the most cost effective. And then our eyes are always on them. Now, if you have a retired nurse in the family who thinks this is going to bring great purpose to her life to help a loved one, then that might be a really good option. Sometimes it is. But, you know, for most of us, it can really do some damage to our household or core family. So if you've ever had a family member live with you for an extended period of time, you might know what I'm talking about. This person may require 24/7 care, which you might not be prepared for. And we may not have the patience, the skills, nor the proper household setup to care for them. So sometimes we confuse love with, you know, I really love my spouse or my older sibling or my parent. And so of course I want to take care of them, but we might not have the skills and the proper setup for that. So it's not always the best thing to do. So you can bring in in-home caregivers. And number one, that keeps them in their home for a longer period of time, which for some people is very important. So if you're bringing in caregivers a couple of times a week, that can also be a nice respite for if you have a family caregiver and you just need to go to a doctor's appointment or go for a walk or something, and you have the caregiver come in and can take care of them. Maybe the caregiver can help them bathe, and that's something you don't really want to be involved with, right? So that's a good option. But sometimes finding the right caregiver and keeping them can be a challenge. If you've ever had a housekeeper, you might know that. You might get lucky and find one that lasts, you know, for 10 years and they're great, but you might also go through several and it's just not working out. So the cost, if they're just coming in a couple times a week, may be substantially less than senior living. But if it gets to where you need 24/7 care, or even just every single day, 7 days a week, the cost of senior living might be much less than bringing in a home caregiver. So assisted living or memory care, it may be safer than being at home It can return dignity and independence to people who are really struggling at home. And it can give family peace of mind. The challenging part is it is expensive. I don't care which budget range you're in, it is expensive. And it requires research and long-term financial planning sometimes. So that's what I'm here to help with. So please be proactive in conversations with your elderly and make sure you're talking about things and you're watching for red flags. Just know that I have lots of resources, especially for veterans. They're very near and dear to my heart. I am a Navy mom. I have an active daughter in Navy who's been in 9 years, and I love helping out our veterans. But I have connections with financial planners, estate attorneys, and all kinds of different folks to get you in the right direction to help you find whatever your needs are for the seniors. I also just want to throw out there that my services are always complimentary for seniors and their families. I'm often paid a referral fee when someone moves into a community, but I will help anybody whether I get paid or not. I get paid on enough that it works out. So hopefully I've loaded you up with some senior living information. Do you have any questions?
Hey, Kathleen, my name's Jerry, and I had a question. Is there facilities in Gold Canyon, senior facilities?
That's a good question. I have heard that there may be adult care homes, and yes, that there is one. I am not specifically, I haven't been out there yet, but I will be getting out there.
Yeah, it seemed to us when we did the survey that that was a future requirement for more senior care, and although it's outside of Gold Canyon, it's very shallow if it exists. Okay, thanks a lot.
There's actually in the East Valley, if you want to count Chandler up through Scottsdale, there's over 150 different senior living communities. There is a lot. It is overwhelming. Yeah. And one of the biggest mistakes I see families make is they'll say, well, I already know where we're going to go if there's something that happens. There's a place I drive by every day, or there's a place my brother-in-law lives, and that's where I'm going to go. And what senior placement companies like me, what we can do is not only look at the Arizona Health Department's inspections for that community, but we also look at all the Google reviews. We also hear kind of word on the street amongst all the senior community, and we have a lot more information about these communities. I know one community that has a huge Jewish population and they celebrate all the Jewish holidays. I know another community that has a ton of Green Bay Packers fans. I'm a Packers fan. And so I love that community. So it's very important to find the right place for folks. And sometimes being in Gold Canyon, like you said, or somewhere close is very important, but sometimes that's not as significant as some of the other factors.
Could you walk us through just like a first appointment consultation with so many in our Valley Sun of assisted care living, senior care living? How would you tailor it to help the family decide which one is the right one for them?
Right. So there's kind of, just to keep it as basic as I can, there's two different scenarios. And there's the proactive family, which I really greatly encourage you to be, who calls me up and I schedule an appointment and I come out to their home. And sometimes it's people just asking for themselves. Sometimes more often it's people asking about their loved ones. We usually have a phone conversation first and talk about their needs and concerns. And then I come out to their home and I meet with them and we just talk about, most of the time people bring up independence is the biggest thing. I don't want to lose my independence. So we talk about, what does independence mean to you and what have you lost so far? And let's just talk about getting that back, whatever that looks like, getting back as much as we can. So sometimes it's some long conversations, and sometimes families I will work with for a few months before we figure out what they really want to do. But more commonly is the other circumstance, which is emergency, which is where, say, someone in their 80s has been living alone for a long time and they're doing great and really no problems, but then they fall and they break their hip and they end up in the hospital. That is the number one reason why older people end up in the hospital, is because they fall and have a serious break. And they might do surgery, they might not, whatever their choices they make. And when they're finished at the hospital, they send them to skilled nursing rehab. And the reason they go there is because when we were all 25 and injured ourselves, we just went home and rested up for a month and we're back on the basketball court, you know? But now, once we get older, it's a much longer healing process. So the rehab center helps them try to build their strength so they can go home. But more often than not, after a week or two, they cannot go home. They're going to need some more assistance. And so suddenly the family finds out that in 3 days, mom or dad is being discharged and we need a place to go. And I get that. And that's difficult. So I really encourage you to be proactive. But when that happens, I meet them at the school, at the rehab place. I might meet them at the hospital sometimes, or sometimes I meet them at assisted living communities and we start touring immediately.
Thank you for that. Do you do some pre-screening of these facilities or even in-home care? Because I think, you know, with my own mother or other relatives with their family members, they may be concerned about safety, you know, and of course you can't guarantee everything, but you do some pre-screening.
Absolutely. I'm an expert in senior living. So I have pre-screens. I am constantly touring assisted living and senior living and memory care communities. And I am always looking at the Department of Health inspections and vetting them. And that's what I do. And I have my preferred list that I like. They're my favorites. I have some other places that I'm not necessarily contracted with, but I know there's still good places that I'm happy to recommend. I have places that I would not put my mother. And I don't say bad things about things, but I will tell families, if somebody says, hey, I heard about this place, what do you think? Can we go tour? I will say, I would not have my mother stay there. I have some reasons why, but if you'd like to tour there, I'm happy to take you. But that's not a place that I would choose. So, yeah. So that's a good question. And regarding home care, I'm happy to help you interview home care and help provide some list of questions we can ask and things like that, but I haven't pre-done anything. Yes, sir?
Yeah, at what age would you think that it would be a good time to buy like insurance for long-term care insurance, that kind of stuff? I mean, at a certain, you know, I mean, we're all think we're invisible till a certain age and then it's kind of too late at one point. Unfortunately, I got mine, but my wife had, based on all her medical issues, she can't get long-term.
Yes, I'm not an insurance agent, so I will say, please take note of that, but I will answer and say that the typical age to buy long-term care insurance is between the ages of 55 and 65. And the reason is that if you buy it when you're 40 years old, you're going to be paying for this for a very long time because the payments never end. You pay them for if you want to have the insurance. And so that would cost a tremendous amount of money. But if you wait until, say, you're 70 or 75, you're probably not going to qualify for it because you're going to have some health issues that, like you said, are going to disqualify. So most people buy it between age 55 and 65 when they still medically qualify for the long-term care insurance. But they're still old enough to understand that they're probably going to need it. The average age of people in assisted living and memory care is in their early 80s, 82 to 84 years old. And most people use assisted living for about 3 to 4 years. But I've known people that have been in there 10 years.
People end up thriving in that kind of environment.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, in thriving times. But again, let me reiterate what Kathlyn said. Being proactive is so much better than waiting until it's a crisis. And again, those of us in the senior industry that are speaking to groups all the time, we just cannot emphasize that enough because when you're in crisis, decisions are made inappropriately. And what happens many times is you have a Band-Aid on something for a while, and you put them one place, it doesn't work because that was the only spot for them. And some of these places have waiting lists.
Yes.
So even if they thought they wanted to go there, there might be a many-month wait or longer to get into a place. So again, what you think, you don't know. In that being proactive is so much better. I mean, for years I've said that we need to be speaking to those that are in their 40s and early 50s, just to sort of show them the way.
Educate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about, you don't want you la 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 la, but it's still here.
Yeah.
Each run around the sun, I'm sorry, I mean, but here we go, and life happens.
I had that conversation with my daughter, she's 48, and she said, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to talk about it. I don't wanna
La, la,
talk
la,
about
la, la,
it."
la.
You need to address it now, it's the best time to start getting prepared for it.
And that is very true, even having conversations with family as far as your wishes and what you want, and again, la, 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 but again, it's tough. It's,
And I think the hardest thing for me to hear is when families say, well, we want to get a little information just in case something happens. Yeah, so what are you talking about? So you're telling me that you want to wait until you've suddenly had a horrible family tragedy and someone has died.
Yeah.
Or someone has been severely injured to where they may be disabled. And then at that point is when you want to move them to an entirely new environment.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm a real foodie and I have a sensitive digestive system. So I don't want to, in the middle of a crisis, move to a community where I have all new food and I'm trying to figure out what the menu is. You know, that's very stressful where I'm surrounded by strangers. So that's a decision to make ahead of time and to get folks, if they are aging and they feel like they need some assistance, get them into a community where they can make friends and get to know people and know the systems before something happens.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Anybody online have a question? Unmute yourself and state your question if you have one. Okay, if not, then we will try to get as much of this information out for those of you who were not able to attend tonight or were online. There's a lot of good information that was handed out, so we'll make sure everybody gets that. Any other questions? Okay. Well, it's just almost 7 o'clock. I don't know if we have any other thing to talk about, but Jerry, did you want to briefly share about the community plan with the group here?
Yeah, sure thing, Dave.
Go ahead.
We had we've come a long ways with the community plan, and we've worked with ASU, we've worked with people in GCCI and other neighbors, and we had a meeting last week with the county to give them an update. And I won't present it here, but it was very good feedback. It was well received. And basically there's 12 chapters to the plan. And what we did, we presented the goals, which came out of each segment. And since you can't see it, I'll just continue a little bit. The next step would be to go through with the county and have them socialize it internally with the various departments. And then we will come out to present and update the community. And as we go into the board meeting, we'll be talking a little bit about that because we have a long PowerPoint which summarizes it. And I think that's probably the best vehicle to go through it and bring everybody up to date. So we'll be doing that. We'll talk about the exact timing and how to do that over the May-June period. And we've made very good progress. We finished our work with ASU and pretty well closed out that, and they were very helpful in the land planning portion, as well as some of the other areas which they researched. So I think, Dave, unless there's some other questions about the content, it would probably be better to show the.
I do have a copy of the plan here. This is the only,
Okay.
this is a draft, and we did sit down with the county last week and run it by them, and they were very positive and are willing to work with us on implementing whatever we can. So we're moving forward. Our next step would be, like Jerry said, is we want to now take it onto the road into the community and get some more input from the community as we go. So look forward to some more meetings like this, but focused on the community plan, and we want to get as much input from people as possible.
Yeah, Dave, I guess unless there's other questions, I mean, I was thinking out loud, we'll discuss this a little later, but perhaps having the June session talking about this or focusing on it, or some of the chapters might be a good idea. But
Sure, we can do that. Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay. All right, so we can adjourn this community meeting, and thank you for our guests. It was extremely valuable information. We appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you.
Trying to do, and how are we going to go about it? Because it's kind of an evolutionary thing. It's not like you can fix it, but you can protect it, right?
Right.
And a way to try and, there's a lot of things we can do as a committee, and GCCI's got a good start. So if this is going really slow and it's a lower priority for the community, I mean, we've done a lot, maybe we just sunset it for a bit. There's nothing wrong with that, and pick another priority.